my work has always been inspired by biologies of all types, but specifically in 2013, I had an opportunity to do a large-scale piece for the Museum of Modern Art in Jacksonville, Florida, and it's called MoCA Jax, Museum of Contemporary Art. And they have a 40-foot atrium space, and you do a piece sort of inspired by the space. And I, at the time, right before that, my father had an episode of encephalitis, and this basically temporarily damaged the part of his brain that deals with language. And so for at least 6 months, 6 months to a year, he had a recovery period where at first he could only speak a few words, and he couldn't even read, and even though he had been a physician. But then slowly over time, he got much better. And I was living far away from him, and I thought this would be an opportunity to kind of explore what had happened to him, and deal with brain imagery metaphorically as well. I started doing research on the Spanish neuroscientist Ramon E. Cajal, which is very interesting because I think there's some other artists that have been inspired by him. And I was just amazed by his beautiful drawings, and I started to make my own drawings. And then I translated the drawings into fabric, wire, and my own sort of textile ways of working, which are very labor intensive, and they're on a grand scale. So I'm making these tiny drawings into a large scale sculpture. So I love like finding, a source like brain cell, and from a visual standpoint, but also I get very fascinated with, these are this is from a pigeon, this is from, a different animal, this is from some other creature, and like seeing the differences, and trying to understand more about how the brain actually works. I actually saw my father's MRIs, and I could see like over time, and I could see like this hole, like where the encephalitis like made like a little white hole almost that looked like a white hole, and then like the hole got smaller and smaller. So I found that very fascinating. And of course you can see things like that in other forms of nature, like in plants, or like your own skin, like if you get a wound and then how it heals. I see these connections everywhere, and then I like to actually, I feel like one of the reasons I'm attracted to textiles and to sewing is because it is kind of a form of mending in itself, and it's very like after a long day's work, I'm a teacher, I have to come home and like start working and sewing, and a lot of people are kind of like, how can you work after a long day? And that is like that's like what keeps me sane, that's what keeps me like going.